All right, so let's look into Stocknet Institute evolution programs with Golden Raven EA. What I'm going to go through is the company and the rules, some calculation examples, and the Golden Raven setup for these challenges. What is Stock Institute evolution? Well, first of all, special thanks to Sean and Dan in Golden Raven Telegram for the letting us know about this program and giving some insights, and also the payout confirmations that kind of confirm that this company is legit and that they do pay. It was founded in 2021. It's based in the UK, and what I liked is that the founder names are actually on the website. I noticed that some other sketchy prop firms don't have any founders or employees or any info on the team on the website, so that's a good thing. They have a low payout percentage, but it's a long-term instant funding program, and I'm going to go through some examples of differences between this one and traditional prop firms. And the programs go from $1,250 to $80,000 and are scalable up to 1.8 mil. And I heard that you can actually have multiple 1.28 mil accounts, so the actual size is actually quite a bit larger if you have multiple accounts. If you compare some of the traditional prop firms with Evolution by Stocknet Institute, first of all, you get sort of like instant funding, which means they start paying weekly right off the bat. So your first week, you actually receive a payout on your profit, compared to like FTMO, where you don't get payouts until you pass and actually have a profitable trading period. Like I said, total funding 1.28 mil per account. You can have multiple. I think it's 3 total, compared to like FTMO, which has 400k max, and you need like a couple different accounts. Some other prop firms do offer like up to 1 mil that I've seen, but those tend to be really aggressive, and of course that means they're really hard to pass for like a regular trader with low risk. Good thing is that you got constant scaling on the same account. Sure, FTMO and others might have scaling plans, but they require first of all passing multiple accounts and combining them, and also they tend to be more difficult to scale. For example, you need to have back-to-back profitable months with like a certain profit target in order to be scaling. Like for example, the one I'm funded with has every 3-month period that has to be I think it's 5% per month. So because they're back-to-back, it makes it a bit more difficult, because your scaling fails if you actually don't get your back-to-back profit target. Evolution has no time limit. It's not a traditional challenge. For example, on FTMO, you got your phase 1 30 days plus 14 days extension, which of course kind of like makes trading the targets more urgent and makes you fail more. Total drawdown is minus 8% max with no daily, so it's a total 8%, and FTMO, for example, has minus 10%, like many prop firms have minus 8 to 10%, but the minus 5% daily, or half of the total drawdown, is usually the issue. With Stocknet Institute, you only got the minus 8% total, including daily, so that's really good. Profit split is a bit lower, so 50% up to 75% at the max funding, but I'd say still more interesting to me, because you do get paid every time, and the account scaling is quite fast. So overall, I rather choose the profit split that they have over like 80 or 90%, and you have to struggle to get paid. So what's the business model? Initial investment covers their own risk. So for example, if you purchase a 10k account for $770, you're allowed minus 800 drawdown. So they basically cover their own risk there. If they get unprofitable traders on board, then yeah, if they lose their accounts, they're basically break even. That's really good. 50% initial profit split. So they do collect a lot of profit for your trading gains, but of course they kind of have to, I guess, because those accounts scale really quickly, doubling the account size every 10%. So why not trade your own money? Of course, that makes sense. You make 10% on like $770 that you could have invested on Evolution, and you make $77 profit. But if you get 10k account, 50% of that, you get way more profit for for your total account size, and you get to double your capital every step. So that's really good. Kind of benefits both parties there. Just a quick rule overview from their website directly. So like I said, 8% max drawdown, weekly payouts don't affect scaling, so that's really good. You get your payouts and it doesn't impact how fast you get to scale up your account. EAs are allowed, copy trading is allowed. No position size limits is good, but they do have like a gambling rule, so you can't, for example, risk all 8% on one trade, like all-in trades. News trading is allowed, but what was a bit shady for me was you can't have both buy and sell stops on the same instrument during news. So I need to look into this more. I need to ask their support what exactly this means, because of course with Golden Raven you're gonna be having buy and sell stops during news at the same time. So gonna have to see what the position hedging rules are. Weekend holding is allowed. Stop loss is not required. 30 days inactivity is not allowed, but that's really not an issue. If we run an EA, we'll be trading quite actively like every week, and even if you need to take 2 weeks break, that's not really a problem. It's quite a long break anyway. And closing an order in under 5 seconds is not allowed. So like it was mentioned in Telegram, we really need the Golden Raven feature to not set the stop losses and TPs under 5 seconds, because those can definitely get hit in volatile situations like news releases, for example. And I think somebody already lost their account due to this rule on Evolution. So really need that feature before starting. The real opportunity of this program is you get to invest, let's say, $770 now for a 10K account, and you'd be making 53K profit in the next months using Golden Raven and continuing to scale your account. So in the long term, it's going to be a really profitable, if you can, like a program or prop firm, if you can stick to your plan and stick to your profit targets, which I'm going to go through next. So here's an example of a 10K account with the $770 initial cost for the account, or your starting investment. I decided to have like a very conservative 5% gain a month. So that's half the risk compared to most common prop firm targets. And personally, I know I can reach 5% a month. I've done it also manually on some of my funded accounts. So I know it's possible and not too difficult. That means 1.25% per week and translates to 0.25% per day. So quite nice to be targeting 0.25% days. Doesn't really stress you out too much. Your account gets doubled every 2 months. So every 10% they double your account, which means every second month with this profit target. You could go more aggressive, of course, but this is the one I decided to go with for myself. So whatever you want to do is okay. People have been talking like 1% days, which is 5% a week, so you double your account every 2 weeks, but to be honest, that's too aggressive for me. I'd rather stick to my plan long term. Don't want to get the EP hits too often. You'd hit break even on your account at week 10, whichever starting balance you decide to go with. So 2.5 months on all account sizes at a 5% monthly pace, and you make your money back. So pretty much on par with other prop firms challenges. Most challenges that I've done takes like a couple months to both reach the targets, pass the phases, and get my first profitable period. So kind of in the same ballpark there. And with this example, at 10K account, you'd make 53K profit after 1 year. Now this assumes no losses, so you probably hit like in a 12-month period, you're kind of forced to hit your EP every now and then, because it's a really long time to be running the system, even if you're careful. But hopefully it's going to be very occasional and just going to slow you down a little bit, and you're not going to blow your account. So as long as you stick to your plan, even if these numbers take 13 months or 14 months, if you can stick to your plan and profit targets, then should be all good. And on the right, you can actually see the calculations yourself. So you can see the account doubling from 10K to 20K, 40K, 80, and so on. And at 160K, they actually start increasing your profit splits as well, which is really nice. And actually, if anybody is interested in this sheet, I can also share this one where you can just change your starting balance and calculate your own weekly gain, change your weekly gain, monthly gain, see how much profit you'd be making and how much you'd be making within a year's period. And here's a simple illustration of the 10K account progress at the 5% per month target, which I mentioned. So you'd be starting at 10K. Yep, you only collect $60 per week for the first few weeks, scaling up to 40K, 80K. I'd say at the midpoint, like month 7, you start seeing like noticeable gains. You go from $60 to $500 per week, which translates to a couple grand per month, which is really nice. For example, if you're working like a regular job as well, it's a really nice income stream to have in addition. And then obviously going towards 12 months. So let's say you start now, next February, you'd be going for $2,400 per week, and continuing from there into next year at like 5K per week. So once you hit these bigger accounts, it's going to really scale up quite fast. So it's kind of all about sticking to the plan, and the motivation really comes from seeing the later figures after like 1 year of running this system, assuming you start with a smaller account like 10K or 5K or 20K. Another example of how much more it would be, how much the payouts and profits would be if you start, for example, a 20K account. So of course you double the pace by then. You'd be targeting $116,000 in a full year, and you'd be reaching that quite significant profit payouts within, let's say, if you start now, then next summer you're already going to be making like 4K per month, which is quite motivating. So really the question is, with this program, can you average 0.25% per day for 10 weeks straight without major losses? Because that's when you make your money back. So then you're kind of break even. After that, it's all about sticking to the plan, going for the bigger numbers. If your answer is yes, then yep, it's worth a shot. But if you can't stick to your plan, then probably wasting your time and money. So you gotta have these calculations in place, know your profit target per day, per week, and per month, and then stick to that plan. Watch your weekly payouts coming in, and hopefully within 6 to 12 months you'll be scaling up your account quite nicely. In terms of the setups, I was testing the new V4 presets. So far I've been doing GBP USD preset for V4 of Golden Raven, and at half the lot size of that preset, it seems to be performing quite nicely at 0.25% per day, which is the 5% per month target. So you could do anything at half the slot size of these presets, no need to change any other settings, and it seems to be performing quite nicely for this purpose alone. Of course, it's always worth backtesting your settings on the charts, so at least pips distance and max position is possible, open and booster. So here's an example from December last year where I was using the gold presets when V4 wasn't out yet with the new presets. You can see on gold would have basically gotten stopped out on the default settings quite a few times, and every time the price comes back to your profits. So really just know the resilience of your setup, of your preset settings, and just understand that the only reason to hit the EP is actually a huge trending move that it just simply can't recover from. So as you can see here, if it got stuck in shorts on the first spike up, you could have lost your account. Then it went really aggressively down, you could have lost your account again, then it goes up again and you could lose your account again. But really, it's not worth it. Just go lower risk. Don't go for those 1% days. Otherwise you'll be just looking back to the charts and imagining like, why did I have to go so aggressive? I just hit my EP for nothing. So just decide your risk, be more conservative, play the long-term game. Should be worth it at the end of the day. So some of the other risks to be aware of course, the Stocknet Institute is a rather new prop firm, only a couple of years old, so there's always a risk of going out of operation. Usually these prop firms, their contracts have a fine print that is not mentioned in the rules on their website. So those rules or contract clauses usually remove all liability from the service provider to like if you lose your account because they go out of operation, then basically they are not liable for that. They don't have to refund you or anything, so that's always a risk. Then again, we can just hope that they stay operational for 1 year to scale up our accounts, because at that point, for example, if you can scale up to collect 50k or 100k profits within a year, you have enough personal capital to just run it on your own cash account. So all you need is really 1 year with them. Then there's the risk of breaking the rules or the contract. So not all the rules are often as clear as they seem, something I've noticed with a lot of newer prop firms. So really need to read the contract carefully before investing. I personally haven't read it yet, so just gonna look for any weird things or sketchy contract things that might actually force you to or cause you to lose your account because of some stupid rule that has nothing to do with your trading profits, so keep that in mind. And then of course there's the EA and profitability risk. So you want to avoid the complete loss of your account, especially later on when you've scaled up for 6 months. You don't really want to risk it and reach your 8% drawdown. So make sure you do your backtesting or calculations beforehand. So test your setup a couple of weeks on FTMO trial with the same account size that you're going to be starting this program with, for example. And of course there's going to be some EP hits, so those losses need to be included. Like I said, it's probably inevitable during a 12-month period. So in my opinion, really solid program. I'm going to be starting it quite soon with the Evolution account. Best way, in my opinion, to profit from this combination of Evolution, Stock Institute, and Golden Raven is really conservative long-term scaling with low risk. So don't get too greedy. Don't look back 1 year from now and think, I should have stuck to my plan, I shouldn't have risked that much. Just let it run in the background with your optimal settings, and maybe 1 year from now, or even 6 months from now, you'll probably thank yourself for it. So yeah, hopefully there's going to be some discussion around this. I'm going to be letting you know when I start this funding challenge or this program Evolution, and let's see how it goes.